friends, it's Dwight. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great start to the week. So today's pour is going to be on a 30 by 40 gallery wrapped canvas. Now, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this, and I ended up deciding to do a Melyd style dump and swirl. That's where you just pour the paints in a puddle, and then you pour the black paint on top, swirl it around a little bit over the sides and edges, and there you go. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that. So I'm going to be using colors of blue, some sort of variations of red and copper, and some cream. I'm not using any white in this pour for a change. Okay, here come the airplanes. Let's get started here, guys. Hold on. Okay guys, here we are back at my canvas. As you can see, I did scrape it, so we're starting over again. So these are the colors I'm going to be using today. And I'm probably going to pour them in the order I just pointed out. This is a beautiful red with a little bit of brown in it. And then next to that is cream with a little bit of gold. And then this is a copper. I think it's bright copper. This is sapphire. It's by Extreme Sheen. There's my favorite citron green, peacock pearl, and then desert turquoise. So guys, we're gonna get started here in just a moment. There's my dump paint, and we're gonna do an old style Melyd pour. Let's see how we do. So here we are back at the canvas. I did a pour prior to this one, as you can see, and I ended up scraping it. Just wasn't real happy with it, so I thought we'd start over. I always tap my canvas. I just want to make sure it's as tight and taut as it can be before I put some paint on it. So like I showed you previously, we're going to be working down the line here with the darker colors with a little bit of light in between. So that was that deep red, a little bit of gold and a little bit of brown metallic mixed in there. The cream and then the copper. Again, putting another little barrier between the copper and the blue. This is the sapphire blue by Extreme Sheen. It reminds me a lot of the ice blue, same company from the Dazzling Metallics. So citron green sometimes can take over. So let me stop for a second there. The reason I used my level was because, as you can see, all the paint seems to be gravitating towards that one corner, and I was worried that maybe the canvas was askew, which would show up in the final results. As a hint, it's not. It's all fine. So I lifted up the corner just a little bit to move the paint just ever so slightly, because I didn't want it to go over the edge. As you can see, I have a lot more paint to go through. So after I finished that layer of turquoise, I went back through and layered the paints almost exactly as they were layered before. I started with the copper this time, the red, and then I poured the cream on top of that, again to separate the colors. Rest of the blue, rest of the citron green, and the light turquoise blue. So I'm sitting outside and the airplane's approaching, so I apologize for that. I'll move in a little closer here. So I just slowly poured the black paint on top of this puddle. I do have this sped up like ×1, I think, so you can see that I'm moving awfully slow. So I did a slight swirl. It wasn't much of a swirl. I just decided to take it over the edges in a different format this time. I sort of did diagonal and then back down to the lower right corner, and then this other corner in the far upper left of the screen here. There we go. It was getting heavy. My arms were tired. Just wanted to put it down. Now at this point, I'll be honest with you, I didn't see a lot of movement on the canvas, and I was a little concerned, but I said, let's just wait and see what happens. Don't make a decision to scrape it too soon. So I'm just checking the edges real quick here. As you can see, the color is slowly coming in. I can start to see on the edges the blue and the red. Here's my heat gun. I used to have a torch, but the heat gun works just as well. Little tap here and there to get some of the bubbles up, moving the canvas and the paint back and forth slightly just to open up some of the bubbles. And then I think at this point it's like, let's get up and put it on time lapse. So it filled in really quickly, as you can see. This is a different look than my previous looks, but it's the old look that I used to do. And actually I'm loving it. So let's do the wet walkthrough. Okay guys, here we are with my Dump and Swirl, Melyd style. Got some big juicy pearls. I'm going to show you up close. They're multicolored. They're looking pretty cool. It's funny, I didn't use red, but this sort of turned out red. And sort of got the mix of the citron green in there with the blue. Then you got these big pearls. I'm going to just clean the edge up. I think that's all I have to do. A few more may pop up, I think. It looks like there's a couple up there. We'll just see if they expand on their own. Okay, this was fun. I like doing this. It's different than my other ones. Let me walk around this way. Got this beautiful red line down here. I don't know. Sorry about the glare. I love this edge. You got some of the gold and the red. And there's some of the citron green. Yeah, it's just really pretty. Yay! Okay, so let it sit overnight and I'll show you first thing in the morning. Okay guys, here I am going to my studio. Have some paintings out. I have a show coming up, so I've got to wire and varnish some of them. There's another painting right outside my studio. So let's take a look and see how things dried overnight. Looks great. Get some lights on in here. There we go. So folks, here we go. Just look at those pearls. They're looking pretty cool. Yeah, I think we got a wiener. I'm sorry, a winner. Sorry, that's my sense of humor, bad joke. Yeah, so the negative space, I love that it's sort of oblong like that, and that it just has some interesting dimension to it. The cells and pearls are really kind of cool. They're just kind of floating in there. I will clean up the edge, and that's about it, because some of the pearls came in. I may clean up some of these little spots down here, you know, just to make it look sharper, but I don't want to do too much to it. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough to show you. Let me walk around this way. And I do want to make a point that my painting's laying flat, so the color doesn't look as brilliant, and I have a window blind closed because it often creates a glare. But actually, I think this might be how I would end up hanging it. Yeah, something different, something abstract, looking pretty cool. Let's look at down here. A lot of reflection off the ceiling light. Looks like I have a lot of green, but that's all that citron green and the blue and the turquoise together. Just thought I'd show you up close a little bit. Okay, so let's get moving here. Let's get this done and let's rock and roll. So with today's touch-ups, I don't have a whole lot. I was just basically cleaning up a few dots here and there and cleaning up the edge. I just think it's important to have a nice, clean, crisp edge, especially if you have a large negative space. Just makes it seem like it's a little more free-floating. So I'm just doing my final touch-ups here, and I will show you the dried results in just a moment. Okay guys, here we are. We are finally done with this painting. If you watched that last little clip, it didn't take much. I just wanted to clean up the edge and I dotted a few pearls and took out a few other pearls. One of the things I'm liking from looking from a distance is I love the edge. Do you see the turquoise edge? I just think that's really nice, especially a contrast against the red. Anyway, just an observation. So I'm going to show you up close one last time these pearls. Sorry, it wasn't very clear. There we go. Just pretty dramatic. You know, it's hard to show you because this painting is lying on the floor. And like I mentioned previously, you know, it's flat, and so the light's flat. I don't have a good light source. I have a window up here. That's turned off, and I just have this. So friends, I'm really enjoying this. I think it turned out great. I sort of love the abstract view of it. It's not as, like the composition isn't as strong maybe as some of my other ones because I was using my colander and such. So, but I like it. This is the old style that I used to do a lot of, so guess who's going back to that? It's going to be me. Okay guys, thanks for stopping by. A couple of notes I want to make. One is that I'm going out of town this upcoming weekend, so I won't be able to paint, and then I'll be going out of town again, so I won't be able to paint probably until November, unless I can squeeze one in here and there. But I've also got to get ready for a show. I've got 14 paintings I need to make sure are varnished and wired and ready to go. I'll be delivering those between my two trips, so it's going to be kind of chaotic the next 2 weeks. But thanks for sticking out with me and hanging out, and we will see you real soon.